Advanced Histology for 4th semester medical students. Advanced Histology. Urinary System 1. Kidneys. The kidneys are the primary organs of the urinary system responsible for filtering blood, maintaining fluid balance, and eliminating metabolic waste as urine. Microscopic structure. Glomerulus, a network of capillaries surrounded by Bowman's capsule, where blood filtration occurs. Components. Fenestrated endothelium. Permits the passage of small molecules and fluids while preventing the passage of blood cells. Glomerular basement membrane. Acts as a selective barrier based on size and charge. Podocytes. Specialized cells with foot processes forming filtration slits for plasma filtration. Proximal tubule. Lined with cuboidal epithelium with numerous microvilli, forming a brush border, to increase the surface area for reabsorption. Functions. Reabsorbs 60 to 70% of water, ions, Na+, Cl, K+, and glucose. Secretes substances such as hydrogen ions and creatinine. Distal tubule. Lined with smooth epithelium lacking a brush border. Functions. Reabsorbs sodium ions under the influence of aldosterone. Secretes hydrogen and potassium ions. Collecting ducts. Lined with simple cuboidal to columnar epithelium. Function. Reabsorbs water under the influence of antidiuretic hormone, ADH, to regulate urine concentration. Kidney functions. Glomerulus filters blood to produce protein-free filtrate. Proximal and distal tubules selectively reabsorb and secrete substances to maintain body fluid homeostasis. Role of podocytes and tubular cells. Podocytes aid in plasma filtration through filtration slits. Tubular cells process the filtrate through reabsorption, returning essential substances to the blood, and secretion, eliminating waste. 2. Urinary bladder. Structure. Mucosal layer. Transitional epithelium. Urothelium. Allows stretching and contraction, enabling the bladder to store urine without tearing. Lamina propria. Connective tissue beneath the epithelium containing blood vessels and nerves. Muscular layer. Consists of smooth muscle, detrusor muscle, arranged in 3 layers, inner longitudinal, middle circular, and outer longitudinal. Contracts to expel urine during micturition. Serosal layer. The outermost layer consisting of connective tissue and peritoneum in specific areas. Function. Collects urine from the ureters. Expels urine through the urethra with detrusor muscle contraction and internal urethral sphincter relaxation. 3. Ureters and urethra. Ureter structure, epithelium. Transitional epithelium, like the bladder. Smooth muscle layers, 2 primary layers, inner longitudinal and outer circular, facilitating urine movement via peristalsis. Function. conducts urine from the renal pelvis to the bladder. Urethra structure, in males, lined by transitional epithelium near the bladder. Changes to columnar epithelium in the membranous and spongy urethra. Ends with squamous epithelium near the external opening. In females, mostly lined with transitional epithelium. Transitioning to squamous epithelium at the distal end. Function: males, conducts urine and serves as a reproductive channel for sperm. Females, conducts urine from the bladder to the external environment. Understanding these microscopic structures aids students in linking anatomical features to the physiological roles of urinary system components. Advanced Histology. Reproductive System 1. Male reproductive organs. Testes. The testes are the site of spermatogenesis, sperm production, and testosterone secretion. Microscopic structure. Seminiferous tubules. Coiled tubules lined with germinal epithelium. Contains spermatogenic cells, progress from spermatogonia, immature germ cells, to spermatozoa, mature sperm. Sertoli cells, supporting cells that provide nutrients and regulate spermatogenesis. Functions: produce sperm cells through meiotic division. Secrete inhibin to regulate sperm production. Interstitial tissue, located between tubules and contains Leydig cells. Function: produce testosterone, a hormone responsible for spermatogenesis and male secondary sexual characteristics. Epididymis, a long, coiled duct where sperm mature and are stored. Microscopic structure, lined by pseudostratified columnar epithelium with stereocilia. Surrounded by smooth muscle, which facilitates sperm movement via peristalsis. Vas deferens, a muscular duct transporting sperm to the urethra during ejaculation. Microscopic structure, lined by pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Surrounded by 3 smooth muscle layers, inner longitudinal, middle circular, outer longitudinal, for strong contractions. Leydig cells, found in the interstitial spaces of the testes. Produce testosterone, supporting spermatogenesis, libido, and secondary sexual traits such as muscle mass and deepened voice. 2. Female reproductive organs, ovaries, oval-shaped organs that produce oocytes and secrete hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Microscopic structure, cortex, contains ovarian follicles at various developmental stages. Primordial follicles contain primary oocytes surrounded by a single layer of flat cells. Primary and secondary follicles, progressively larger, with granulosa cells and fluid-filled antrum. Graphian follicles, mature follicles ready for ovulation. Medulla, composed of loose connective tissue, blood vessels, lymphatics, and nerves. Fallopian tubes, serve as the site of fertilization and transport of the fertilized ovum to the uterus. Microscopic structure, lined with ciliated columnar epithelium and secretory cells. Cilia facilitate oocyte, zygote movement, and secretory cells provide nourishment. Uterus, site for implantation, fetal development, and labor. Microscopic structure, endometrium, functional layer. Thickens and sheds during the menstrual cycle. Basal layer, regenerates the functional layer after menstruation. Myometrium, thick smooth muscle responsible for uterine contractions. Perimetrium, outer connective tissue layer. Vagina, fibromuscular tube connecting the uterus to the external genitalia. Microscopic structure, lined with non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium for protection. Contains elastic connective tissue and smooth muscle layers for flexibility. Advanced histology. Respiratory system 1. Trachea and bronchi. Trachea, hollow tube connecting the larynx to the bronchi. Microscopic structure, mucosa, pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells, mucus secretion. Submucosa, contains seromucous glands. Cartilage, C-shaped hyaline cartilage rings provide structural support. Trachealis muscle, smooth muscle bridges the cartilage, allowing flexibility during swallowing. Bronchi, branch into secondary and tertiary bronchi, leading to bronchioles. Microscopic structure. Epithelium transitions from pseudostratified columnar to simple columnar. Cartilage plates replace rings as the bronchi decrease in size. 2. Bronchioles and alveoli. Bronchioles lack cartilage. Lined by simple columnar to cuboidal epithelium. Smooth muscle regulates airflow through constriction and dilation. Alveoli, the site of gas exchange between air and blood. Microscopic structure. Type 1 pneumocytes, thin squamous cells for gas diffusion. Type 2 pneumocytes, secrete surfactant to reduce surface tension and prevent alveolar collapse. Surrounded by a dense capillary network for oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange. Advanced histology. Cardiovascular system 1. Heart, wall layers, endocardium. Inner layer with simple squamous epithelium and connective tissue. Myocardium, middle muscular layer responsible for pumping action. Epicardium, outer layer composed of connective tissue and visceral pericardium. Conductive system, sinoatrial, SAW, node. Pacemaker generating electrical impulses. Atrioventricular, AV, node. Conducts impulses to the ventricles. Purkinje fibers, specialized fibers for rapid signal transmission and coordinated ventricular contraction. 2. Blood vessels, arteries, layers, tunica intima, inner endothelial lining, Tunica media. Thick layer of smooth muscle and elastic fibers. Tunica adventitia. Outer connective tissue. Thick walls withstand high pressure. Veins. Similar structure but thinner walls and larger lumens than arteries. Valves prevent blood backflow. Capillaries. Composed of a single endothelial cell layer. Facilitate gas, nutrient, and waste exchange with tissues.